Melissa Moore, Spirit Radio, thank you so much for joining me today. I am here with a special guest, Blessing Offor, and I'm just so excited. We're just going to jump straight on in. So Blessing, thank you so much for joining us at Spirit. We are so excited to have you here. One thing I love to do on my show is do something called Two Truths and a Lie.
Ooh, I love it.
So that's something I enjoy. I'll give you mine real quick so you can have a second to think.
Okay.
So mine are, I have 2 kids. The second one is I've broken 2 bones.
Ooh.
And the third one is I have gone bungee jumping 2 times.
Okay. So 2 truths and 1 lie.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say that the lie is broken 2 bones.
Yes. How'd you know?
Bungee jumping seemed too it seemed just implausible enough that you probably did it. And 2 kids feels right.
Absolutely. Yep.
2 bones, I was like, maybe not. So yeah, that's it.
Yep, there it is.
All right, you ready?
Yes, right here.
I grew up in North Haven, Connecticut. I've lived in 3 different metropolitan cities. And I have taken 14 flights in 1 week before.
What? Okay, well that one has to be true. That's too wild. That's too wild. I'm gonna go with the first one.
Ooh, okay, you Googled.
No, I didn't.
I grew up in Hamden, Connecticut, so you're right.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, pretty close. That's awesome. Can you share about that last experience?
I barely remember because I was fueled by coffee, so, but it got done and everything worked, but it was a long week.
Where were you going?
So it was, I believe this was during The Voice time, way back in 2014, 15, and it was like back and forth to LA a bunch of times, and then I had to come to Nashville to do a gig, and then I had to go back to LA. So it was like 7 different trips between a Sunday and Monday, 8 days. So I guess technically it was 8 days, and it was 7 different round trips. And at the end of it, I was like, I just flew 14 times in a 8-day, essentially week-long period, and I was like, that's a lot.
That's wild. I feel like that's too much flying. I like airplanes and all, but not that much.
Well, it's like one of those things where you just go, someone's gonna do it,
Yeah.
and I want to do it. So
That's awesome. Well, you mentioned The Voice. I've been following your career for a while, and I'm not watching it as much these days, but I actually remember watching you have that 4-chair turn. And that's just, what was that like?
I'm gonna reveal trade secrets. So when you're doing The Voice, you don't get the bam, 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 those noises until post-production. I'm not sure I'm supposed to tell you that, but I am. So during it happening, you have no auditory cue, right? So when I turned around, everybody's like, woo! And Adam was like, you're pretty pumped, aren't you? And I was like, why?
Yeah,
exactly. Because I was like, I guess, but like, what happened? And he goes, oh, okay, got it. And so he was like, all 4 of us turned around, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. So it was, I'm sure they edited that out. No, I think they actually kept it in, because I was like, wait, why?
That's awesome. So obviously, so much has happened since then. You got to sing with Toby Mac, which is, incredible. And actually, I just heard a amazing Coca-Cola commercial a while back. Didn't know it was your song until a couple days ago. There's amazing things that you've been able to do over your career, but do you have any maybe favorite moments so far?
So honestly, every moment has been a favorite moment. I wake up every day, I'm going like, wow, okay, it's happening. This is happening. And there's always like that quiet time moment where you go, okay, God, I know it's gonna get busy, but just in these couple minutes, I just wanna say thank you. This is amazing. You shouldn't have, but I'm really glad you did. And then you run around, you know what I mean? So I always try to catch those little moments. There are too many things to even begin to count, but Red Rocks was amazing, playing Red Rocks with Chris Tomlin. And Vegas with Lauren Daigle the other weekend was awesome. I'm about to play the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. That's a cool thing. And like the Dove Awards are coming. So just all these things that you've read about and heard about and dreamt about forever are happening. And at some point my brain just goes, let's get through it, and then we'll look back and be shocked when we're done,
Yeah, just to be able to like take those moments of silence and just like bask in it. That is so powerful. And yeah, I think no matter what career a person finds themselves in, like I feel like we need to take those moments and like really be grateful for what God has done.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that's
It's
wild.
the most important thing. Otherwise, it just becomes white noise. You know, it's like the ability to be still, so to speak. Psalm 46:10, just like, this is happening. This is the dream. It's not the point of life, but it is a gift. And just, for me anyway, it just helps me perspective everything going on, because you could let it go to your head, and then that turns a good gift bad. You could not appreciate it enough, it turns a good gift bad, or you could just put it in perspective, you know. And so perspective has been the most useful thing lately for me.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like perspective is really everything. And, you know, I've looked a little bit at what your story is about. And, I mean, you've really walked through so much in your life. And, you know, I'd love to kind of hear, you know, some of the things that you've walked through. How has that impacted your faith? And how has God brought you through all of it?
So I'm from Nigeria. I came to the States when I was 6. My family are all still back home, so I haven't seen them in, 20 some odd years. It's been a lot. Came to the States initially to treat glaucoma, ended up losing the vision that we came to save. So it's like, you say all this to people and they're like, oh my God, you're so, fill in the blank, inspirational. Like, I don't know how you do it, this, that, and the other thing. And I always try to say, it's not the kind of thing where you want to go, no, I don't deserve that, or like, but it's more just like, it's important for me to point out to everybody that whatever it is whatever your story might be, I also wouldn't know how I would deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, I've just learned that we are all equipped to deal with exactly what we're dealing with, and nobody else is. So there was this moment where I was talking to another radio person, and he said something to the effect of like, Blessing, what has being blind taught you? And he set it up really nicely for me to give this like home run answer about like, well, God has really taught me to blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what, man, I think you're disabled. And he goes, what? And like, it tripped him off his radio voice from, he goes, wait, what? And I said, like, if I walk into a coffee shop and run into somebody, I get to go, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I can't see you. And they go, oh, okay, got it, right? So like, I get to wake up and not imagine or not be confused about the idea that I have vulnerabilities. You know what I mean? Whereas most people walk around kind of under the illusion that they're invincible, and they're not. So when person X walks into this other person in a coffee shop, you don't look at each other and go, let me give this person grace, they're going through a lot. You go, what a jerk, what are you doing? Like, and there's just that moment where you have to realize that everybody's walking around with some kind of quote unquote disability, whether it's heart or body or mind or soul or something. Because the world's broken, and that's just how it is. So I said to the guy, I was like, man, if we could all just picture each other in wheelchairs or with canes, we would give each other that extra 10, 15 seconds to like consider what someone's going through, and consider that them being not the nicest might just not be there. It might be more complicated than the fact that they're just a jerk or whatever the case may be. So it's a complicated thing, but ultimately it just boils down to like grace, Everybody, there's that quote that says like, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a great war. And that's really just what it boils down to.
I think like just to be able to share with other people the gift that you already experience from God every day, that it's like you've been able to embrace, the beautiful power of the story that you've walked through, and to be able to receive that almost as like a gift from God, and to be able to really give hope away to other people that are really struggling to see that possibility for themselves.
I hope so. No pun intended. But yeah, that's, all of us have stories, and we're supposed to inspire the rest of us. So, that way, if I tell you my story, you go, man, God is good. You tell me your story, I go, man, God is good. And we just encourage each other.
I think it's in those like difficult seasons that like we really can see God, and we almost have to, right? That like that's what gets us through, and like to be able to give that as a gift away to other people that maybe don't see that as a possibility yet. I think that's a huge gift. Obviously, I love your latest song, Believe.
I was just about to tell you about that.
I was just going to say, this is a perfect segue here. I want to hear, what is your heart behind the song, and what do you hope that listeners will take away from it?
I love that song when I wrote it, me and my friend Hank, we like stopped and listened and like started tearing up, because that song is the kind of thing that I think we all are afraid to do, which is to self-reflect, right? So in the verses of that song, it says kind of sarcastically, it's like, okay, so you'll catch me when I fall, right? And you'll hear me when I call crying, and you'll fix me when I'm broke, and that's all I need to know. And the storm is gonna break, and the sun is gonna start shining, and everything's gonna go right, and that's all I need to know, right? So it's like, you know, our simplified version of Christianity, like the deal we made with God, where like, oh, everything's gonna be fine because I know you now, you know. But then in the pre-chorus it says, but what if you know something I don't, and what if you will something I won't? If you don't give me what I want, but you give me what I need, is that enough to believe, right? So it's like that moment of going like, you can't know everything God knows because you're not God. So that deal you thought you made with him, what if it's not what you anticipated? What if it looks different? Are you still going to trust him enough to believe in it? So I needed to hear it when I wrote it, and I hope and I imagine and I believe that other people might need to as well.
Absolutely, and I think there's so much of our Christian culture today that we kind of, there's a verse in Proverbs where it says, a man plans his course, but the Lord directs his steps. And I feel like so much we want to just focus on making our own plans, that we don't allow space for God to direct our steps. And when things don't go the way we hope it will, we can get angry.
Oh yeah.
Amongst a ton of other negative emotions towards God. And I think your song really does bring that question up, because a lot of people are asking that question right now.
Yes.
I like to be able to look to God and just saying, you know, is there something that you will that I won't? I think it's so powerful. I love it. I love it.
1, 2, 3, 4. So you catch me when I fall, right? And you'll hear me when I call crying, and you'll fix me when I'm broke, right? And that's all I need to know. So the storm is gonna break, right? And the sun is gonna start shining, and everything is gonna go right. And that's all I need to know. But what if you know something I don't? What if you will something I won't? If you don't give me what I want, but you give me what I need, is that enough to believe, 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 believe in your love? Will I stay?